Today I'm going to show you how to make the ultimate Rice Krispie treats with little pieces of marshmallow in every square. Now if you've done a lot of baking, I'm sure you've already made these before by melting butter with marshmallows, adding crispy rice cereal, and that's pretty much it. But in this recipe, we're going to tweak the technique a little bit to make them way tastier without adding anything. Plus I'm going to show you a trick on how to make the most perfect Rice Krispie treats every time. So I'm going to begin with a really large pot here. And on medium heat, I'm going to add half a cup of butter, which is already kind of starting to sizzle, which is what we don't want. So I'm going to turn the heat down. I'll lower that heat to number 2. So we're just going to let that melt completely. Now normally at this point you would add the marshmallows, but we're going to do something different today. For this recipe, we're going to let that butter continue to cook a little bit until it starts to get kind of toasty. Might even bring the heat up just a couple of notches. We're going to let it continue to melt like this until it bubbles and it starts to turn brown. You're going to see that little sizzling action. That's perfectly normal. Takes a few minutes if your heat's low, and that's what I recommend doing sooner than doing it too fast. If you take a look in there, you see how those little milk solids are starting to get toasty. That's going to give us a really enhanced flavor, almost with caramel notes. Now you can really see how that butter is browning on the bottom. Don't take it too far. As soon as you see that, when it looks like this, you're good. Now right here I have a 400-gram package of marshmallows, mini marshmallows. I'm going to set aside 2 cups of those. About, just kind of eyeball it, and this is going to go in later. So we're going to put these in now into our brown butter, just like that, and we're going to let that melt. And now you can really see those little brown bits. That's going to be such a game changer for these Rice Krispie treats. Now one really important thing to do when you're making Rice Krispie treats is keep the heat very low on this part. You have to melt those marshmallows very slowly. Now before those marshmallows completely melt, I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Stir that in really well. And now I'm gonna add in 6 cups of Rice Krispies, all at once like that. There we go. This looks so delicious. I think I'm gonna turn off the heat. All right, now stir them around until the Rice Krispies are well coated. And now bit by bit, probably just about half, slowly start adding in those extra marshmallows. Half now, give it a little stir, and then just dump the rest of them in. Now the longer you stir here, the more likely those extra marshmallows are going to melt, which is what we don't want. So now I'm going to put this into my prepared pan. So we'll just get those all in there. Now one really helpful thing you can do is just put a little butter on your hands like that, and that will make this job much easier. Don't worry if there's a little left on the spoon. You can eat that as a little treat. And now just pack this into the pan. If you want your squares to hold their shape really well, you have to pack them down well. So there we have it. There's our little marshmallows, nice and visible. So we're gonna let this set up at room temperature for about 45 minutes to an hour, so that should be plenty of time. Yours might even be ready sooner to cut up. Okay, so after about an hour, they're nice and set, so I'm gonna take them out of their pan. And these squares are nice and thick, so I'm going to give them a cut down the middle. I can tell that these Rice Krispie treats are nice and soft. They're not hard at all. And that's because we melted those marshmallows so slowly. And look at all those beautiful pieces of marshmallows, the whole marshmallows that you can see. That's gonna make these squares so much better. I think you just have to see for yourself. Now don't get me wrong, I would never turn down a Rice Krispie treat that was made the old way. But I bet once you start making them this way with the brown butter, you might never go back to that old way again. The butter flavor is so much more pronounced, and those little marshmallow pieces add such great texture. I hope you try these out for your next holiday or birthday or picnic, or how about any day?